Welcome to this lesson on the dynamics of interpersonal relationships, specifically dealing with coping with relationship loss. This lesson overview will introduce us to the reasons why relationships may end and how to cope with relationship loss. So, what are some of the reasons why relationships end? According to research, here are some of the top reasons. First, due to only one party desiring the dissolution. So that's one party wants in and one party wants out. This makes for a complicated situation, but often relationship termination is the only answer because your partner is willing to leave you. Number two, due to the violation of a relationship rule. So probably the most common type of violation to a relationship rule would be infidelity or cheating on your romantic partner when in a committed relationship. But there are other relationship rules that can be broken as well. Number three, due to the introduction of a third party. A third party could vary. A third party could be the introduction of a new child. It could be a new job. It could be abusing some kind of substance. So again, a third party can take on a variety of different things. However, it's just something that interferes or gets in the way of your relationship. Number four, due to interaction distance. In an earlier unit, we talked about proximity, and that's the interaction distance in a relationship when you frequently spend time together versus not spending time together. So over time, if there's a lot of distance in the relationship, this could lead to the relationship going through the stages of relational de-escalation. Number five, due to normal differences in individual growth. So people change, you change, they change, the relationship changes. And sometimes that change makes for a relationship that seems unfamiliar and unsettling and not comfortable or not safe anymore. And as a result, when we don't find that same security in the relationship, those changes in individual growth may really cause problems for the relationship. Number six, due to destructive conflict patterns. So, as I've mentioned in previous lessons, conflict is inevitable. It exists in all relationships. However, once it takes on destructive patterns, where it tends to be repetitious and we're unable to solve some of our relational conflicts, that could lead us to feeling like we have no other option except to end the relationship. Number seven, due to the loss of attraction towards a partner. Again, this can show up in many different ways. It could be physical attraction, it could be mental attraction, or it could be emotional attraction, or all of the above. But when people change, your views and your feelings and your perspectives and your attraction levels towards them may change as well. Number eight, due to circumscribing, stagnating, and avoiding stages. So according to Knapp's model of escalation and de-escalation, once a couple starts hitting the stages of relational decline, specifically starting with circumscribing, then stagnation, and next avoiding, it's no wonder they end up terminating because they're falling into that trap of relational decline. Having gone over all of the reasons why relationships may end, I would just like to say that personally and professionally, I believe that every couple or every friendship or every business partnership should try their best to make their relationship last, whether they seek counseling or they use other means and modes, but trying to work out the relational issues because there is no such thing as a perfect relationship out there. Relationships are hard work and effort, and you have to be willing to fight for each other and fight for the relationship. Unfortunately, sometimes termination is the answer, and it's the conclusion we come to, whether it's a unilateral breakup, meaning one party breaks up with the other, or a bilateral breakup, when both partners decide it's best to terminate the relationship. When that does occur, then we do need to go through a healing process, or understanding how to cope with the loss of the relationship, and ultimately how to manage the heartbreak, because a relationship loss does come with a lot of mixed emotions. Some things we can do. Number one, the purpose is to answer why in order to provide meaning for the relationship. So every relationship needs some kind of closure, taking the time to really think about why the relationship ended. Number two, similar to when we grieve or cope with death, when it comes to a relationship that breaks up, we also grieve, or what we call account make. We do this account making or grieving. So going through those stages of coping, the loss has to be recognized, so we have to accept it and not be in denial. Our emotions must be released, whether it's crying, eating a tub of ice cream, going for a long drive, but figuring out a way for how to release those emotions. We have to develop new skills of living and coping. So often taking on an old hobby that you used to love but didn't have time for once the relationship started. A lot of people start working out again, or they get a new hairstyle, but different ways to reinvest their emotional energy in new directions moving forward. Number three, when it comes to coping, couples usually have different interpretations of their relationship termination and its problems. And we should just accept that. Their story is going to be different than our story, and that's okay. If we, focus on that, it's just going to hurt even more. So move on. Number four, loss generates confusion, loss of control, sometimes misery, and desire to avoid the truth. Usually after a breakup, we could be irrational beings until we can think things out. So research suggests not to make a major decision after a breakup. Give it some time until you're not so emotional, because when we're highly emotive, we often are irrational. So don't make a major decision. Number five, we often express loss through unaccustomed forms. So maybe writing some poetry, or listening to music, or journaling, writing in a diary. This involves opening up and working through one's thoughts and emotions. And often therapists will suggest these types of activities for people to engage in after a breakup or when dealing with loss, because it allows you to really write everything down, kind of get it all out there. It's very cathartic for venting and starting the healing process, working through the healing process. Number six, sometimes people can tend to engage in obsessive review of the events of a relationship through excessive if-onlys and what-ifs. And it's okay to allow yourself to do that, but don't overdo it, right? Don't waste too much time thinking, well, what if I had said this, or what if I had done that? Because in the end, most likely the relationship would end up exactly where it is, and that was breaking up. Number seven, coping with the loss is not bound by time, but 6 months to a year is average for most people. So don't be so caught up on the length of time or the amount of time. A lot of friends or family members will have opinions about that, like, oh, you should be over them by now, or this is, it's going to take you a certain amount of time to get over this person. It's really unique and individual for each person going through the relationship loss. The only thing I would suggest here is that just know that if you truly love this person and you were invested and committed to this relationship, it's not going to happen overnight. It is definitely going to take some time, and that's going to be pain and hurt and negative feelings that you may be experiencing, but that's okay. That's coping with the relationship loss. And number 8, therefore, you are not ready for a new relationship until you've recognized and dealt with the loss of the old one. So rebound relationships don't work. They're not successful. Don't jump into the next relationship with open arms. Take some time for yourself. Get to know yourself again. Figure out who you are. what you want and what you don't want in a relationship. And then slowly get back out there and, see what is out there for you so you can make the best decisions to be in a healthy, happy, harmonious new relationship. Good luck.